Okay, so the major change you saw with implementing ChiliPAC is the layout changed. But basically what this layout means is that we still take the Evergreen catalog as the basis, meaning only this like technical style sheets and everything is making it look differently. Meaning if you change anything on your catalog, like adding a link or removing something, so that will also change in your ChiliPAC catalog. For front page, it could be taking up to 3 hours. I think it was an hour for PaILS to refresh, because we are caching some parts of the page, but basically you are still in control of how this catalog lays out and what you display there. One more thing is that you already previously had these carousels, like most popular books 2020 in your catalog. But what ChiliPAC adds is also these additional, like dynamically created carousels, like this recently reviewed, recently rated, and there are some more, which I'll show a bit later in admin panel, which you basically can add just in way of configuration to your front pages of your catalog. Then just to start off, basically like Scott already mentioned, so ChiliPAC is basically built around booklists and bookshelves. And the difference between the two are that bookshelves are meant more for private use, meaning for users to track what they have read, what they are reading right now, and what they are planning to read or what's on their wish list. So there are only 3 of these options for bookshelves. Primarily, bookshelves are private, meaning for only the user can see it, but users can also opt in to display them publicly, and they will get a unique URL they can share with their friends or post on Facebook that other people can see what's on their bookshelves. And in the bookshelf, you can basically add only books that are in your library's collection. So basically, you can search either from here, or I'll later show from your profile, but it does real-time search in your library's database, and only the items that are there can be added. Book lists, on the other hand, are meant for like specific creation of them are meant for specific purpose, and you can create as many as you like. So like Scott mentioned before, it's a great tool also for library staff. So basically to create book lists for reference desk requests. And it's also a good tool for users to basically advise their friends of some specific books on specific topic, or creating just instead of putting those books in bookshelf that are not easily trackable, maybe you can create a specific book list for cookbooks or some hobby-based books or any other topic, or for students to create like a reference list for their papers they're writing or researching. And I will start off with showing how you can manage book lists, and then I'll get to other features. And there's basically two ways how you can manage book lists and bookshelves. And the most simple and obvious way would be just to do a search in a catalog. And basically you will see this add to book list, add to bookshelves buttons appearing at every item on the search results page, as well as once you enter the item details page, you also see this add to book list, add to bookshelf buttons right here. And that's as easy as that you can just click on add to book list. Sorry, I need, so then if you're not logged in, you will be prompted to log into the catalog. So there's no extra login steps or registration to do. So this is how you do it. So you can see all the book lists you have created, or you can create one from within here. So just type a new name and basically that and create a book list from here. For regular users, basically this URL that will be assigned to the book list will be generated automatically, and it's just a random string of characters. For staff users who are assigned to be on admin panel, basically we need to, not me, but I mean libraries need to assign who are staff users. So you can also create like specific book list URLs, such as to include topic of it. So not just some random string, but like it's an example here. So easy dinners and things like that. And similarly with the bookshelves, you also, if you like to add this book to your shelves, you just pick from the three that I mentioned. So either you put it in completed, that you have completed reading for later, which is like a wish list, or currently it's added to, and for this as a test item is added to in progress. So you can remove from this in progress shelf here as well. And an additional button you get on item details page is follow. And like Scott mentioned, you can follow users and items in ChiliPAC. And basically, if you follow this item, you will see an entry on your what's new page on the profile, which I will show you briefly. Basically, whenever some user interacts with this item, and with interacts, I mean adds it to the book list or bookshelf, or adds or rates it. So you will get an update that this basically there's an activity with this particular item. Also from item details page, so this item doesn't have any reviews, but basically you can click on rate or review, and this is easy as that. Just add the review title and add a review for the item. And as Scott mentioned, so at first the review will not appear on this item page until an assigned librarian from specific location moderates the review. So only then they will start appearing. This moderation can also be disabled. So if you trust that it will not contain some bad language or can otherwise be harmful, so we can also have a setting on our admin panel that the reviews can be displayed right after they are posted. Okay, so this is one page. One way how to add items to book lists or bookshelves. The other way, is from within the user's profile. So this is additional. So book list and profile you see are new features that were added to the catalog that were not on Evergreen before. So that's coming from ChiliPAC. And so this is how every user profile looks. Basically contains some controls. Then we have recommended items. So based on what you already have on your book list and bookshelves, this is algorithmically produced. So based on highest matches from other users having similar items on their book list or bookshelves, or having reviewed similar items. And similarly, you also have recommended users who basically where these recommended items come from. So you have matching items that you have added to your book lists or bookshelves or reviewed them. So these users have interacted with these items as well. And okay, before I go into controls, I also want to show you that you can go to other user profiles and see what they have on their website, on their profile. So what are their public book lists? What are they following? And if you find an interesting user, you can also follow that user. And it also means that once this user interacts with any item in the catalog, so you will get a notification on your what's new timeline. And so this timeline is here. So this user I'm displaying with is not following any user item that has events associated with it currently. As soon as it happens, so the notification will appear here. So meaning it's not intrusive. You will not get an email for that, but you can still find updates for items that may interest you. Okay. Then also shortly to mention, so users are still in full control of their profiles. meaning they can decide if they want to share anything at all, and you can just, if you want to keep it private, so you can just click the privacy settings not to share anything with anybody, or you can choose, so by default it's share with everyone, but you can switch it to hide it from everybody. And the only things that it shares is basically your basic profile information. It doesn't contain any private information. So every user that has a profile basically comes with a pre-generated nickname, such as patron 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we never display any identifiable information about the patron. You may choose to pick an avatar that's associated with your account. Again, it's so it's your option. By default, it comes with just a P letter in a circle, and that's how it's up to the user how they choose to use their profile. Okay, and then going back to the profile. So up here you see your public book lists, meaning if there are any. So it could be that you have just book lists that are not publicly shared, so there will be nothing here. You can then just you can manage them from this button or my book list here. And underneath you also see your bookshelves. And again, once you click on it, you will go to the items that are on your 3 bookshelves. And bookshelves look like this. So by default, they are private. So if you choose to make them public, you get this shareable link that you can copy here. And once you share it, so users outside your library, they don't have to be part of your library, so they can access this link and see only items that are on these bookshelves. Okay, and basically you can, once there are many items, so you can sort them by date, author, or title. You can mark them here with a checkbox and either remove them or move between the shelves, or you can move between the shelves from here. And this is how you switch between the bookshelves. So this is completed. Now we're going to the bookshelf that's in progress items. And so this is how you can track what you are reading, what you have been reading, and what you want to read. Okay, then I'm now I'm going. So yeah, okay. So sorry for going back and forth, but basically the other way how to add items to the bookshelf. So the first way was like I showed from the search results page. The other way is to basically click on add item here and search for the item. And it will return the same search results as if you would be searching in a catalog. And then it has these add buttons here, so you can just add the items from here. Okay, so that's as simple as that. So if we go to book lists, so one way again was to create them and add items to the book list from the search results of the general catalog. The other place to do it from is here. So once you click on my book lists, or if you click on book lists from the header, you will be moved to this page. And here you can manage and create book lists, like new book lists. Let's create one. Book list. So, and then we don't need to fill other pages. So the book list appears right here. And the first status for the book list is always a draft. And there are 3 statuses for the book lists. First is a draft, and you can move it to private or public once you have added 3 or 5 items to the book list, meaning before it has less than that. So it will stay in draft. And then there are this private and public status. And the difference between those two is that if you move it to private status, you still get a public link to share it, but it will not appear in any public like search results or book list or user recommendations. Okay, so currently, if you, it's already, the link is pre-generated, but in draft status, it will bring to an empty page. So once we add 5 items, which I'll do in a moment, so then I can move it to private. So currently I cannot do that. And if I move it to public, so it means that not only it will be publicly accessible to everybody, but it will also appear in like Booklist search results. And I'll get to the search result, Booklist searching a bit later. So basically the difference is that in private, you can share, only people who know the URL can access it. So only your friends that you share it with, or the patrons you share it with. And in public, so more people can access it also from different other areas within the catalog, wherever it appears. And
Iris, let me interrupt just 1 second. Mary Beth Long asks, what size does the graphic need to be to fit into the avatar box? That's kind of going back from what we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure. I'll see if we have. I remember we had some 5 megabyte limit, but basically, I think it was like 200 by 200 was the minimum. So I don't remember from top of my head. Yeah, very good question. But basically, what it will do is that if it's larger than that, we will do it automatic resizing on our end.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and another difference between a Booklist and a bookshelf is that not only you can add item from your library's collection, but you can also add an external URL. So meaning whether it's a link to a website, to online article, or to some other electronic resource like ebook or some research paper. So you can add those in addition to items from your collection. I'll just add 5 so that we can reach the limit. So you just click add, and this is how the items will appear. Okay. And to add website, you just specify title. Let's add Google. And so if possible, it captures the image of the website. If not, it will appear with this web logo. And for Booklist management, also in on Bookshelf, you cannot move the items back and forth. Here on Booklist management page, so you can do a few more things with the items. So basically, you can put most important item on top. So you just click on these arrows here and use drag and drop. And this ordering will also appear once we go to the public page of the book list. And another thing is that you get to add notes on like an sort of an annotation or explanation on why this item is on the book list or why this item is important. So like, for example, for, I don't know, teachers, so you can create like a syllabus and explain what you have to read in this specific book. Or it can also be used for book clubs and also to agree on like dates when they have to be read or parts that have to be discussed and things like that. So this is like additional information. Sorry, I misspelled. On the item. Okay. So once you add it, so it appears also on your management page, and I'll show you in a moment how it looks also on the book list. So once I added 5 items, so it moved to the public status, so I can switch it back to the private if required. So if we can copy the link right here, and once you open the book list, so this is how it appears publicly. There are a few things we added just before this webinar to your catalog. These 2 buttons here are the first one. So let's start from the very first one. So like Scott mentioned, so these book lists can be also downloaded in PDF and then shared at the state they are in at the moment of download. So this is a convenient way if you want to email something that's accessible like without internet. So once you download the book list, this is how it will appear in a PDF. So basically it's a list of items It also adds this annotation information, and if also the format if available. Okay, so this is about the PDF button. Next one, what we added is what we call pin to staff lists, and this is meant for basically if you have this book carousel on your catalog front page. I will just show you where it goes. So basically, if you have this staff lists carousel on your website, which we added by default, but I understand it's currently removed from all the catalogs. So basically, you can so how it works, the staff list, is that basically whenever somebody assigned as a staff user creates a public book list, this book carousel would list this new book list on this carousel here. So meaning you could go to book list listed and see it in a form like I was showing here. And with the spin option is that if you have some like seasonal readings or suggested readings that you want to highlight, that should not be moving. So whenever new book lists appear, so you can pin it, so it will stay at the very first item of this staff created book lists. And once it becomes not essential, so you can unpin it and it will disappear. Another feature we added just now is duplicating book lists, and that's very convenient for reference desk use, meaning that if you get reference desk requests for from some patrons that you could build upon from like an existing book list you have created before, or if you go to like book list search results and find some book lists that you like, that you could build on, so you can click on duplicate this book list, and so it could be, this book list could be created by any user. It doesn't have to be created by you. So you can duplicate it and basically build on it as your own. So you can give it a new name, a new description, and basically change the items that are on. So there could be multiple purposes. So meaning if you have, I don't know, a book list of some 50 items and you want to give another user just 25 of them, so you can duplicate it with a different name, different URL, and use it that way. So you don't have to create book lists from scratch every time. And the third thing we added just today is a QR code for the book list. So basically, the intention is that if somebody is using like a computer in your library and wants to look at basically take the book list created with them and look at the shelves, so they can scan the QR code here with their like mobile device. So now I know, at least on these Samsung Galaxies and iPhones, so once you scan it with your, once you point your camera to it, it will offer you to open it in your browser. And so also this book list lays out very well on your mobile device. So meaning all this design is responsive and it looks and works like a mobile app pretty much. So you can just point your phone to this QR code of the list you want and go walking with it in your pocket. So you don't have to send the book list URL or write it down or anything. So you just scan it and go. Scott, I see some questions, yeah?
Yeah, there are, but before we get to those, when he talks about duplicating book lists, Yuris, you want to touch on the availability of book lists? We're not talking just about book lists that have been written by the users at your libraries. We're talking about this global database of book lists that have been written. And I don't know the number, Yuris, maybe you can, but it's a vast resource for users and staff to look at the book lists that have been written by users and staff from all over the world. And duplicating those book lists is such an easy way to grab a lot of those book lists or some of those book lists or some of the books on the list, add some things to it and call it a new name for use for themselves or for a user at the library. So do you want to talk about that just a little bit?
Sure. So that's the search book list feature I mentioned before, but let's go to it right now. So basically, just to point it where it is. So in addition to the catalog search, we added two new searches as a part of ChiliPAC. So here you can see search book lists and search users links. So once you go to, sorry, my phone's ringing. So once you go to search book lists, so this is where you get access to all the book lists created in ChiliPAC from all the ChiliPAC libraries. And currently there are more than 37,000 book lists that are available to your use. So basically, if you get some topic you need to do a recommendation on, you can write this topic in here. It will do a search in our book list database and look it in title and description of the book lists, and basically offer you what other users have created on this topic already, so you don't have to go from scratch. Let's try Harry Potter. And by default, it's also searching in all libraries, but you can limit the search to the book lists that are created in PaILS library. So just click this limitation here.
And just as an insight, obviously with this just being put in the Spark libraries, there's going to be a pretty small number of book lists that have been created already. So the vast resource of all of our libraries is really important, certainly in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So here you can also see a bunch of book lists with the prefix BKLYN. So those come from Brooklyn Public Library. And also, once you go to the book list, so very likely that many items are not on your like in your library's collection. So in that case, you will get like here. So basically, there will not be a place hold option. So this is how you can tell. So this item is not available in your library. But if it contains this place hold, so it means that it has to be, basically we are making this reference checking with your book collection, and this book has to be in your library. So that, and again, so this is basically, so this is created in Brooklyn. You can create and duplicate this book list and use it for your own purpose. And also, if you find the book list and you want to see what else this user has, so it lists the latest book list created by this particular user. And you can also go to this user's profile, like I showed before, and then follow the user if it's a public profile like this, and then get updates what else this user is suggesting. Okay. And so more things to mention is that basically the order of the items on the book list will appear how you managed it from your management page. And also the image of the first book on the book list will appear as the title image in this image mix that comes from the book list. Okay, and here you can also place a hold right from the book list. You can add a review, you can read the reviews, see the ratings of items and things like that. So it becomes like an additional option how your users can find new items and where they could place the holds from. Okay, because once you, and also we on the book list, we also have this option to share it to Facebook, share it to Twitter. And once it's shared, so it also comes with images and basically appears on Facebook. And so anybody from outside your library or within the library can access it. Basically, they will see the same page I'm showing you now. Okay. So this is how this book list search works. And we also have specific like book list search filters. If you like, you can search just for the latest booklist created on this topic, because we have also some imported booklists from before, ranging from 2010. And also we have currently this target audience filter. Mostly this is used by library staff when creating booklists, but you can see also from some topic and selecting basically which audience you're targeting. And then if you like them be more precise, you can also filter book lists that are created specifically by library staff. So that those would be the users who are assigned the staff on admin panel by your and other ChiliPAC libraries. And yeah, then you can order the results also from most recent and recently updated. And that's how you can refine this filter. But basically, this is to help you with creating book lists on a topic that maybe you would have to research in detail from scratch. So here you can get some ideas and reuse something that somebody else has already created before you. Okay. And then the other search option is for users, but basically this is if you want to find a profile of a user you know by a nickname, and by default it searches within your library first, but you can also search for the nickname of users from other libraries as well. Okay, and maybe a few more things to mention is that these ChiliPAC related search results also appear throughout the catalog, like in addition to search results that come from Evergreen from your catalog. We also, on the bottom of the search results page, we are adding a section called connections. So basically, based on this keyword, you can find user with, so basically users, sorry, book lists that might fit this keyword based on title or description. And also here underneath, you can find also users who have interacted with items that match this keyword you're searching for. So that way, again, you can find more reads, maybe what don't come up from this catalog search results. So they come up here. Okay, Scott, any questions or anything to add?
One thing I would, let's go back to the profile again.
Mm-hmm.
Yours just showed at the bottom of the search results that you're going to be made recommendations of users and items based on that particular search. But if you look at this page, you'll see underneath the user information on the left that we recommend items and recommend users over on the left-hand side. Those recommendations are going to be slim in the beginning, but as a user interacts in the catalog by placing holds, by creating book lists, by writing reviews and interacting, these particular recommendations get better and better. Is that a good way to describe it, Juris?
Yeah, I would say so. And also we are working on improving these algorithms that they would basically bring more and more relevant results. But basically, the more items you interact with, the better results you will get here. So it presents the highest matches between other users who are interacting with similar items as you do.
Perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell about this things that we have added to your catalog. Now I want to explain a bit what you can find on ChiliFresh admin panel.
If you wouldn't mind, Juris, beginning with the jackets, book jackets, and how to upload those. We had a question about uploading book jacket cover art.
Sure. Okay. So basically, you can log into ChiliFresh admin panel by going to our website, so chilifresh.com. And basically, you have to have an assigned user. So maybe Catherine can advise a bit more. So
a little bit.
So can you hear me?
Yep, we can now.
Okay. I'm not sure how many users are added as admins to admin panel. So who, if all of you can access it already, but basically you can manage these. So basically Catherine is managing who is accessing as administrator or a moderator. But once you log into admin panel, so it will look like this. And here on the left-hand side, you can see all the products that Scott was telling about. And basically there are, so there's some general information section where you also manage these administrators, moderators. You can also see your library users. So we have, I think they're split by each of the branches, but basically whenever they log in, they become a user, and you will see them here. And if there is some issue, like they are posting bad reviews or something like that, you can also go to each user's profile and delete. Yeah, so you can suspend the user, or you can also delete the user if they request so. So this reset password, that's actually not necessary, because I mean your login happens with barcode and PIN. If let's start with this cover art, what Scott mentioned. So basically, to answer the question how you upload the cover art is you go to cover art section right here, and there is an upload cover art section. And basically, there are two options to do it. One option is just to open covers in a folder, and then just drag and drop them to this area here. And if you have named them, all these files like ISBN, like this 9780 blah 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 dot JPEG, PNG, or this GIF, so it will recognize the name, and then you don't need to add any like ISBN or UPC for the item. So the easiest way basically is if you are using, if you're uploading an cover art for some specific ISBN, is to name it like ISBN dot these formats, and then drag and drop them here. The other option is you can also pick files one by one, right? And basically by clicking here, it will bring you to folder. So once you select the file, you will see that here my file was named with this UPC in the file name, and it recognized this UPC value instantly. And then you can basically mark which identifier it is. If you want to upload like some local collection item, then basically you have to
for example, something that doesn't have an ISBN or a standard identifier, right?
Exactly. So then basically we it would be best if you can contact us or Catherine. So, or I will email instructions to Catherine. Basically, we have a naming convention that should be followed for the code. And it should start with like your library account ID, which we'll provide, or this 4157, which is account ID, then and 001, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So basically, once you add this ID here, you should edit it in your bibliographic record and add it as a UPC in this mark field 024A, if I remember from the top of my head. And that way it will link with the catalog. And once you upload the cover art, it takes us about 3 to 4 hours for it to be processed and available online. So it doesn't go to production right away. We have some pre-processing activities for it, but since the upload, it appears. So we put it here like a 24-hour disclaimer, but in reality, it appears in 3 to 4 hours usually. Okay, so that's mainly it for cover art. So there are more controls, like if you find an image that is incorrect for the item, so you can suspend it by adding ISBN or UPC of it. Seldom, but it happens, meaning even getting it from credible sources, sometimes there are some mix-ups, like wrong game state, like platform or things like that. For data, so we are importing it automatically. You don't have to configure anything there. And then you can also, if you go to analytics, you can see how many covers have been accessed. And if we presented the real cover art, or it showed this generic Spark logo, basically, or it didn't show any cover at all. But in PaILS case, so if there's no cover, so it shows this Spark logo. But basically here you can also see a dynamic, so how many searches were done, and basically it shows every single case when the cover was triggered, either in search results case or item details case, and what sizes of the cover are the most popular. So by default, I think we use medium already in the catalog. Okay. So as we, after 5 minutes, almost talking for an hour, so I tried to also be short. So next one is reviews section. And so this is the place where you moderate reviews. So if you're assigned as a moderator, so you go in, you'll see all. So this is not for PaILS library. So this is my moderation list, but basically here you can basically either accept or suspend a review. And suppress a review is another status. So basically, if you see a review from another library, but for some reason you don't think it's valid, or it basically has to be, you wouldn't allow it in your catalog, so you can look it up here and click on suppress. So that way, this review basically appears still in other libraries, but not in yours. Okay, and we also have this option to suspend reviews, meaning if you have to ask a question to some patron or ask to edit it or want to like postpone for you later. So for now, you can also suspend selected review, and after, if you go to there's my suspended reviews. If you review them and still don't like it and want to remove it, so you can also use delete review feature there. Okay, then in settings, so this is where I said you can choose not to require moderation. So by default, it's enabled to all. And also, if you look from our whole database, so basically I think it was 98% of all reviews are moderated. So there are a very small number of libraries who don't require this moderation. Here you can also pick which languages show first, and here you can also pick not just show first, but which languages you don't want reviews appearing in your catalog. So by default, it allows all. You can also pick if there are some library types where you don't want to. Basically, we enable everything. You have an ability to remove some kind of library types you don't want reviews from those types of libraries appearing in your catalog. And similarly with geographic locations, so you can also disable some like specific country or region if you see that the reviews are coming, but you wouldn't like these basically reviews in your catalog. Okay, and yeah, here you can specify how many reviews per page. So these are already details you can configure. So you can see they're pretty wide. If we go to ChiliPAC, so that's the biggest part of what you have. So in your catalog, so this is where you basically configure what these book carousels appear on your front page. You simply do that by, so basically it's a location-based configuration. So if you go to your log into your library, so you can just drag and drop them. So basically which carousels you want to show on your front page. And like I said, the staff lists, it was actually a recommendation from Brooklyn Public, and they use it very widely, that they basically when staff lists means that, like I said, whenever a staff user creates a public book list, so it would appear on this book carousel on front of your catalog. So if this carousel is enabled, and this is where you can also pin them, so that the pin feature basically would allow this book list to stick to the first item of this staff lists. Another carousels you can pick from is the staff reviewed items, meaning it would display all the items where members who are added as staff users have reviewed. And this is another way, this is a recommendation that came from Brooklyn Public, that they want to highlight reviews of their staff. So basically they thing. This and we agreed to that. That also this highlighting the staff expertise is very important. Basically, a way to basically a source for patrons to follow. And then other dynamically created is you can put recently reviewed items, and that way your users can see which are the items that were recently reviewed specifically in your library. Similarly, recently rated, then highest rated, so meaning which have the highest cumulative rating and most rating. And then trending items is a book carousel which basically contains the items that are most added to book lists and bookshelves. So it basically counts together interactions for these items. And then some PaILS specific feature where you can select your background image for header of this ChiliPAC that you have in your catalog. Okay, so this is where you add the staff users. So under the ChiliPAC section, staff users, to assign specific staff users to your location. So here you add their patron ID. So that's the, I think, 6-digit number that's stored in a catalog. So if you like, maybe we can also discuss with Catherine that we can basically assign them also by nicknames that they have signed up with, and that shows in their ChiliPAC profile. But you can manage it yourself here. So staff user, like I recently added, yeah, it's a 7-digit. It was 7, maybe it's more in some cases or less. But it's this Evergreen staff user account where this user logs into the catalog. So basically barcode and pin. And so once it's added here, then this user is considered a staff member, and then those results like staff reviews and staff book lists and those staff specific features appear in the catalog for that user once he logs in. One more is book carousels. So this is like an extra feature. I know Catherine also had some questions, and we will create an instruction how to create it. But basically, this is a feature where you can display specific carousels, either manually or dynamically generated, on your websites. So it takes the data from ChiliPAC, from your catalog, but you can basically, let's create a very quickly first one. This carousel. So basically, once you create it, you can pick and add dynamic list to it, like the staff lists. Let's pick recently reviewed items. And then you can also add already specific book lists that were created within PaILS libraries. Let's pick, I don't remember what was there. One, I know I created Adam's titles. So you can pick this book list here. And so this is how the carousel would display in your website. So you can switch between these book lists added. And basically for you to, you can also change some colors, or so there are some options to customize. So you can add like large covers, small. Autoplay means whether it scrolls automatically and how much to scroll. And also you can pick colors for the header and things like that. And to match the website you will be posting it on. And then you have an embed code part. So basically you just copy and paste this code to any website in your library or any other website. And this would display the content from ChiliPAC that come from these book lists. So either specific book lists or these dynamically generated ones. Okay, so you can create as many carousels as you like. And finally, so cover art we covered. One thing I wanted to talk a bit more detail is analytics section. So basically you get detailed analytics on ChiliFresh product usage. And here you get it for all the products that we have. So starting with the reviews and ratings, so you can see how many reviews have been seen in your catalog, how many have been added, and things like that. And we also send a monthly like general email. So I think currently Catherine is receiving it. Then for ChiliPAC, you can see much more detailed statistics. They are also location based, so meaning you can see how many book lists have been created. I'm sorry, I think my browser is small. So how many book lists have been created, how many items added, and this is for this, you can specify period. By default, it's a 1 month period. And you can see how it splits by basically how items split on bookshelves, book list status, and also how your created book lists have been, how popular have they been, meaning which book lists, how many times it has been accessed. And here you can also separately see how many holds came from specific book list. So if you create one to promote items, you can basically track results, how well they performed, or just see which ones are most popular either by topic or basically how the most that users have found. And there are other facets like most popular items added, the book list bookshelves, and things like that. And there is a way to get more book list statistics by specific. So currently this is not appearing here, but there is a way to get more basically specific statistics on book lists. So then cover art tab I already covered, and then we also have parts like more detailed information about the users, which are like the most like the biggest contributors, like in terms of adding reviews and rating items, and as well as which are most popular items in your catalogs. Sorry, through an error, but so basically this is like a popularity information in addition to what you already see on your other analytics.